You are watching Xirtus.
Everyone needs to look at everyone who's resistant to these ideas need to look at the House subcommittee report on COVID response, because this is all laid out now. And I'm amazed that like you will not see this on the news apparently, but like this House subcommittee select committee was both parties. Like this was a bipartisan scientific endeavor to look to, and the part of their findings was that they leaned way in that direction, which also reflects what the CIA is saying and all of this. But for a House subcommittee report that has these findings about COVID response, for it to get no mention from mainstream media, to the point that people are still going about their business like we're still think what we thought in 2020 2021 is pretty absurd. So yeah.
Well, politically, what is there to gain from drudging this up? It's again, you link this to 9/11. I think what would be the political incentive to actually want to bring this up and look into it and start pushing people out? The only thing that makes sense to me, and I've got a small mind, is that if you're trying to stomp out the old legacies, if you're trying to absolutely treat the Bush family like they were Carthage and make sure that they never can reemerge on the scene again, this would be one of the very few things that you would do for political incentive. Otherwise, all you're going to do is offend people, get ostracized yourself, and spend lots of resources proving this thing that was kind of for 10 years was sort of put to bed.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about both 9/11 and now COVID for the exact same reason.
Right. It's the same thing. We have these committees that are doing these investigations. They're putting out the data, and people are not able to process it because they already learned the lie. Why learn the truth?
Learn and then have to relearn. There would be contempt for the person forcing us to do this unlearning and relearning. Even if they're telling us the truth, it would just breed contempt. And I'm from a very pragmatic sense. If you're a politician, you know how political capital works. What would be the incentive to go into this hard and versus just focus on any other pet project you got?
It depends on the politician, and it depends on their prerogative, and it depends what's held over them. That's what I'm interested with the Epstein stuff. I don't just need to know who the perverts are. I want to know who the compromised people are, not just that they're compromised, but specifically what they were compromised with, to say and to do. So that's.
But we're not seeing. I mean, we just talked about this in the last show. Like the Epstein papers. Like, who amongst you really thought we were going to get a list of names that we hadn't gotten before? Like, what did you expect to happen?
Names, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, excuse me.
But what I just mean, like, realistically, like, I don't think that I didn't expect, and I still don't expect that at this point. It's pretty obvious that anything we're going to get is just kind of to shut us up, because they've already done what they're going to do privately, and they don't really care about the bickering masses. Not necessarily.
I could be totally off base, but I think I may have influenced something a bit on Twitter. Because Anna Luna, the woman who we were looking at, who was put in charge, right, of all this stuff. So you have that other lady. God, I can't think right. What's her name? Bondi. So Bondi, she says, I've got it on my desk. I got the list on my desk, whatever. Oh, I'm looking at, she said that on like Fox News or whatever, and on Twitter, and then she erased it on Twitter. But then that other lady, she said, that she treated it that she was in charge. Like, we played a clip on Synctank, like the way she was speaking to it, and she did a tweet, and I got to it pretty early. And I felt like, because there's one position that she was taking, and then like it really quickly changed, like she did a total 180, and I wasn't seeing like because I saw all these people responding to her, like saying, just release the files already, just release the files, we're all adults, we can handle it. It's like, if you looked at the responses to her tweets, that's almost all it was, exclusively. But I was thinking, I don't know if you guys are hip to this, but I was thinking of Oh Lucky Man, the way that there's a scene, there's a segment of that movie where he's like basically being used by these like super rich people who want to do some kind of Zyklon B type napalm shit or something in the world. Like, they're just doing really shady stuff, and they use Malcolm McDowell's character as just like a fall guy. So like they can hand him the briefcase should they get caught, and just be like, oh, I don't know who this guy is. Do you know who this guy is, or whatever? He's the one in charge. And so anyway, I didn't reference this directly to her by name, but I was like, you need to let people know that you're not actually, that you're nothing, apparently nothing more than a spokesperson, because it looks like you're, I don't remember my exact wording, but I was like, it looks like you've been put in a position to be a fall person, so that people have a person to blame when this stuff doesn't actually come out. And I was like, and it was like right after that, she like tweeted like a complete reversal of everything she'd been tweeting before. And so like, I don't know for sure if I influence that, but I have to say the way Twitter works is I don't completely rule it out, because I was just like, heads up, people have gotten the wrong impression about what your role is. It looks like you're being taken advantage of. And so ever since then, she hasn't taken the same position. She's like, I'm not getting, it was right after that. She goes, they're not answering my phone calls. Like, I'm trying to get through. She's like, can Twitter help? Like, she's just like, now she's helpless when before she was in charge, So it's like, you give them the in charge role and they're like, they get a big head. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, this is all on me? Because she would love to be in charge if the thing came out. And now that lady Bondi, she says she's got a truckload right now. I mean, it's been what, a week and a half. I thought that the deadline was the 9th of this month, by the way, if they're going to actually release that stuff that they said that of what the executive order actually was. So I don't even know if we haven't gotten it now. I'm like, is this even going to ever happen? And they're just hoping the public forgets again.
I think it's real. I truly think that this is an auction, and every time they say that we're going to release the black book, that's their way of saying, hey, we just got a new highest bidder. So if you know the number to call to put your bid in, the clock is ticking.
Right. I feel like what's happening is that one by one, people are actually getting something from the FBI. And as soon as they see it, they're like, no way. No way. And no one wants to be responsible for it too, because it's probably the implications have to do with blackmail and the specific things that people have been blackmailed for, and what a giant bombshell that would be on the public. Like, we'll never trust the government ever again with anything like that.
Well, like, what kind of crazy person was ever going to trust the government ever again with anything? That's
I don't know. You go on Twitter and you see what a lot of people have to say. It's shocking, the amount of what people actually think. And to go on Facebook, it's even worse, on a local level.
Yeah.
So like, there's still a lot of like trust. Like, it's people like us. We never. I haven't trusted the government since long before 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, that's why on the day of 9/11, I was like, yeah, give me a break. But like, in everything that followed, I'm like,
That's
but like, a lot of everybody's like that, man.
That which cannot be trusted, pretty much, as I was taught by my daddy.